everyone, and welcome to this edition of NCL Team Talks, where we get to talk with team members from around the world in different departments throughout the organization to hear about the new and innovative things that are happening throughout the company. Today, I am thrilled to be talking with Jessica John, our Vice President of ESG, Investor Relations, and Corporate Communications. Long title, but super important. She's going to be here today to talk to us about mostly on the ESG side. Welcome, Jessica, to the show.
Thank you, Harry.
This whole world of ESG, super exciting, a bit of a buzzword on one hand, but also part of the innovation that we're moving forward with. Maybe you can tell the group a little bit about what ESG stands for and what it means to the company.
Absolutely. So first off, ESG stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. And we established our ESG department in 2020 because we really wanted to have a comprehensive, holistic strategy for our entire company around ESG and sustainability issues. So I know you know this, but throughout our company, we've always had a strong focus, especially on environmental sustainability, and it's really in our culture to get results the right way. But we wanted to formalize this, and we wanted to make sure that we were prioritizing where we could make the greatest impact as a company on all of our sustainability issues. And what we did last year is we revamped our global sustainability program, Sail and Sustain. We created 5 key pillars that really encompass the E, the S, and the G of ESG. Our 5 pillars now, the first one is reducing...
This is a test, so if you know them, that's good.
So the first one is reducing environmental impact. So that's what you traditionally think of sustainability. So combating climate change, protecting our oceans, waste mitigation, all of that falls under that bucket. And you have sailing safely, which is our health, safety, and security efforts. Obviously, the past couple of years, that's been very much at the forefront.
And we've been doing a great job with it, too.
We have been doing a great job. So everything that we've done with the Healthy Sail Panel, the Sail Safe program, all of that would roll into sailing safely. Then we have empowering people, which is all of your sort of human capital type of issues. So making sure that we're supporting, engaging, and empowering all of our team members across the globe. That's where things like diversity, equity, and inclusion would sit.
Sure.
Then we have strengthening our communities. That's how we support and invest in both our local communities and the nearly 500 destinations we visit around the world. And the last one is operating with integrity and accountability.
Sure.
And that really goes back to what I touched on earlier. We want to make sure that we're getting results and we're maximizing our business, but we're doing it responsibly and we're doing it the right way. And so that really underpins our whole ESG program.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So it's clear to me just listening to you here for a few minutes, you have incredible passion for this, absolutely incredible passion. So I understand that one of the things that we've done recently is sort of survey our guests to hear about their passion for this. Yeah. Maybe you can share a little bit about what the key survey results were.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, there were 3 major takeaways here. So the first one is that guests are increasingly prioritizing sustainability. Sure. So we asked them, what do you consider when you're choosing a cruise line? Obviously, things like guest service, dining, price were the top priorities. But we also saw that nearly half of the guests surveyed said that environmental sustainability was important to them as well. So you're seeing that mix between protecting the environment and now how that actually impacts our business.
You know, it's funny, I bet that if you'd go back a few years, it would be a much smaller percentage than 50%. And if we do this in a few years from now, which I'm sure we will, it'll be a higher one. So certainly 50% and growing.
Definitely. And you see that in different countries, for example, you'll see a higher percentage. The other thing that we saw was that our priorities are aligning well with our guests. So we asked them, where should we concentrate our efforts? Because as you heard me say before, there's so many different areas within ESG.
Sure.
And what we found is they want us to focus on reducing our waste and recycling, right, and also reducing our carbon footprint. And I think that aligns really well with what our priorities as a company are and where we have really strong goals like our net zero ambition.
Right. So talk about our net zero ambition. I was going to ask you later, but since you brought it up, I'll ask you now. What is our commitment for net zero and how do you see that playing out?
Yeah, sure. So I think what underlies this whole commitment that we put out of net zero by 2050 is the fact that the science is clear. So for us to, as a society, avoid the worst impacts of climate change, we need to progressively get to a net zero state by 2050. And so we want to do our part in getting to that global goal. And what you really need to do is you need to reduce your greenhouse gas emissions as close to zero as possible. And then for the remainder, you need to remove it from the atmosphere. So our part is us saying that we are going to do net zero by 2050, not just in our ships, not just of our full operations, but across our value chain. So we're making sure that we're bringing all of our stakeholders, 20,000 global suppliers, all the ports and destinations that we visit, our guests, everyone that we interact with in this whole cruise ecosystem is going to be going on this defining and very transformational journey with us.
So how confident are you that we're going to make that goal?
I feel like we're going to have to get there, right? I think it's critical for not just our company again, but all of society, right? So today the technology doesn't exist, and I think it's something that we're going to have to invest in pretty significantly. We're going to have to partner. We're going to have to be innovative, but we're very good at that as a company and as a brand.
Sure.
And I think we will get there, and we'll have to.
So talk to me about some technology that you see in the near term that might help us that, whether it's alternative fuels, processes, things along those lines.
Yeah, so the alternative fuels are really going to be the key for us to be able to get to that net zero ambition by 2050. You can't get there without a scalable, commercially available fuel that we can use for our ships. And you also need the critical infrastructure at all the ports around the globe, right? So we need to be able to have the fuels, we need to be able to get them wherever we go around the world, and we need to be able to do that safely. One of the things that we're actually doing right now is we are exploring a methanol engine retrofit, and we're doing that in partnership with our classification societies and with our engine manufacturers. So that's just one thing that we're exploring. I think there's going to be a ton down the pipeline, and we're really committed as a company to invest and to find those solutions.
So how large is your team? This sounds like you have an incredible mandate.
Yeah, so we have our ESG team, obviously, who works on this. But I think within our company, the commitment really starts from the very top. So we actually have a board of directors level committee, the TEST committee, which oversees all of our climate and ESG related issues. We have our management team, which is all working on this as well. And then ESG really serves to work with departments across the organization. So obviously vessel operations, HR, we work with on social issues, ports and destinations. And so it really reaches and touches essentially every single part of our company. And that's how we get that global reach.
You even send Emily, one of your key staff members, with us to Alaska when we opened up the season. She
absolutely.
was hugely helpful in talking to our stakeholders there as well. So maybe a small but mighty team. Maybe that's the right way to say it.
And we are expanding and we are investing in further expansion on the ESG team itself. And then we work with all of the other departments to make sure there's that cross-functional collaboration.
Fantastic. So one of our recent highlights is we put out our 2021 ESG report. Some highlights that you can share with the group and maybe tell people where they can read the whole thing.
Yeah, of course. So we are incredibly excited that we are publishing our second annual ESG report. It can be found on our website, so nclhltd.com/sustainability. And I think when we first started our ESG report last year, we had previously done a stewardship report focused on environment. And when we revamped that Sail and Sustain framework, we put out that first comprehensive ESG report. And really what we're trying to do is highlight all the key initiatives that not our team, but all the departments across the organization have been doing to accelerate our efforts. And we're also hearing from stakeholders, they want to hear more. They want more transparency, they want more data, and they just want us to tell them as much as we possibly can. And so in this year's report, you're going to get more data, you're going to actually get some concrete goals.
Wow.
So we actually put out, especially around environment, not just our net zero goal, but goals around waste, around water, and all of these sustainable sourcing is another one where we have some goals out there. And so I think those are some of the highlights. I mean, we're making a lot of progress when you think about on the environmental side, for example, we are putting out a target to be at about 70% of our ships having shore power capabilities by 2050.
That's fantastic.
So that allows us to plug into the grid when we're in port, and that helps reduce our fuel consumption overall.
Hopefully with sustainable sources on the local level.
Hopefully, yes.
So for you, this isn't just theoretical. I know you recently had a baby. You want to make the world better. What generates this passion? Because clearly you are super into this, and that's great. What generates this passion?
Yeah, I think it's what you said, right? So this is about protecting the planet, making sure that we're all working towards the same goal. It's not our company, it's not me and you individually, it's for us, and again, it's for the generations to come. So for us, it's really critical. It's not just a business initiative at this point. It is a societal problem that we need to be able to solve.
Well, Jessica, I want to thank you for today. This was really incredibly informative. I mean, I used the word passion 2 or 3 times. It clearly comes through. You are committed, you're in, and I'm positive with you at the helm, we are going to make huge positive changes in the upcoming years.
That's
so
great.
Jessica, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And for our viewers out there, I want to thank you all for listening to this edition of NCL Team Talks. We hope that you were as excited by this as I was. Thank you for listening, and keep smiling.